This is for you. And this one's for me too. I lost $100,000 in 48 hours. And this was right after I had a son about 2 months later and didn't have a job. So this was all the money that I had. And now I live with my mom. That's misleading because I don't live with my mom directly because I lost that money. I live with my mom because I went to jail. But that's a different story. Let's get into how this happened. I lost $100,000 in 48 hours due to two words: goober, gambling. Do not mix the goober and the gambling, people, or do if that's where you are in life. Maybe you'll make the $100,000 and you'll be all right. Maybe you won't. I would advise against it. But on the screen right now, you should see, I should be showing, I'll leave it paused or I'll let it stay on the screen for a few seconds, the withdrawal receipts from that time. So these are the emails that are showing, I made withdrawing 25,000, withdrawing 50,000, withdrawing 70,000, and maybe some deposits. I don't know what screenshots I have, but I could always open up the app and actually look at my bet records directly. So if I ever need to show more proof, I will. But for now, you guys can just see those withdrawal receipts and know that I was really rolling in it at the time. And then I lost it all in 2 days. That is the closest that I ever came to dirking my schmirk. I'm very, very glad that I didn't now. And anybody who was feeling that low in life, please never, ever dirk your schmirk. I don't know what you're going through, but you're probably not going through losing all of your money, all of your savings, all of everything you have. And I actually went negative. I maxed out a credit card. So I was like negative 14,000 at the time. So whatever you're going through, I doubt it's that heavy. And if it is that heavy, I'm sorry, but please, your life is valuable. Please never dirk your schmirk. That is the closest I can. I'm talking about thinking about it. Didn't do it though, and I'm very happy I didn't. And it was all perfect. I would not have gotten here if I didn't do that. I wouldn't be at this point in my life. I wouldn't be this good of a father. And that, of course, could be part coping. So for the haters who are like, oh, he's just saying that, he could be doing better off, he could be a millionaire right now. Duh, I have that regret. But you have to accept what I'm trying to convey with this channel is you have to have faith that there was no other way for your life to go. So every time you spend worrying or thinking that, what if this, of course, I think maybe I would have lost the money and had some investments and I would have gotten here anyway and been this type of person and happy anyway. But that's not. I can say with certainty what I would have done had I had that money and what my mental direction and where I was going at that time. But okay, let me just tell you guys how it happened, how I got there, what it was. So this was in the year 2023. I lost my job in March of that year, or maybe February, whenever. I had a 6-figure job. I was making great money. We were getting $20,000 bonuses at the end of the year. I was taking home about $6,200 a month after taxes. My rent was like $1,400. I had a 3-bedroom. Life was good. It was a corporate job. Corporate jobs suck. It's like, hey, I'm on my second coffee today. How's the kids? I don't care about your kids. I don't want to talk to you. I just have to do this job. But I didn't mind it that much. I probably would have still been doing it now, meaning I wouldn't have been in my son's life as well because I would have been so occupied 9 to 5 at that time. I lost the job really because I wasn't working well, because I was in a bad relationship. And I'm not blaming the other person. We both were at fault. And you have to take ownership. It's your life. It's your fault. Get out of the relationship if you're working poorly. So had I been single or had I been cutting that off, I probably would have been working better. But what's working a corporate job? I actually prefer investing in that woman than I did that job because say I wasn't working with her or wasn't investing in her. Now I'm just investing in this corporation, and screw those guys. They're just sucking up your energy. Give your energy to what you want to give it to. But just note about toxic relationships. I lost a 6-figure job. I was taking care of a lot of stuff. But okay, when I lost the job, They gave me my 401k that was building up. That's say $20,000, maybe more, maybe less. I also still got paid for the next 2.5-ish month. That was their like, don't sue us for discrimination. We'll pay you. Sign this paperwork. We'll pay you for an extra 2 months. So let's say I have that $20,000 and I have my next 3 months worth of paycheck. So let's just say after rent, after I move back home, whatever, let's say I'm at like 25K. Boom. So I got 25K. It was in maybe May or June of that month that I started the gambling. Goober didn't get involved until later. Well, maybe it was involved a little bit, but it wasn't direct Goober gambling until later. What happened was the old betting, the old on the phone betting, that had started getting popular around that time. I was in Chicago. I don't even know if it was available in Illinois yet on the phone. It was when I got back to Detroit that I was doing it the most. I didn't have anything to do. I had this money. I had enough to like get a new apartment in Detroit, pay my rent. I'm back home. I'm with my future child's mother. She was expecting. We were just in Detroit. What do? Got this money. I'm chilling. Don't need any more money, really. Don't need to work. Boom. Let's gamble. So what I started doing was, let's say the first bets that I placed were $100, $200, $500. What ended up happening was if I lost that 500, I had enough money where I could just bet 1,000. So I could make the money that I lost back and then some. And what it got to was on the phone in the little casino apps. Let me make sure I'm recording. I was placing max bets. So I won't say the exact number because I don't want people to know what game I'm talking about and try this strategy. But let's just say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever the max bet was, I would place that bet. And I would try to be strategic and try to place it at the right time. And usually I would win. But let's say if I lost, let's say I bet $3,000 on this game, I'm not going to say which, I could just bet 6,000 or however the math worked out. I had enough to where I could martingale it. That's a nightingale, whatever that strategy is called, where you just double up the bet to cover what you lost. And then the kicker was the bet that I was placing could pay you double or it could pay you triple. So let's say this is how it happened. Let's say I bet 3,000, it could pay 9,000 if it came a certain way. And when it paid that 9,000, I replaced the bet and then I got another 9,000. So let's say this is what started off my gambling like trajectory was I had hit that triple up like back to back. So this was one day where I made, let's just call it $20,000. So it was like I'm in a new stratosphere. And this was June. I ended up losing the money in December. So let's say I didn't get the 100,000 in one day and lose it in the next day. This was over the course of those months that was like my job. I would wake up, be on the toilet, make $1,500, $2,000. Boom, I'm done for the day. I'm good. And I don't know how disciplined I was. I don't really remember, but I was doing well. Like for those months, I was rolling in it. And this is where I regret the most. And this is what is most embarrassing about this. And this is where I'm most sorry. And I'm not even caring about haters or people, strangers judging me. I'm kind of sad for my family because I'm from the hood. I'm not a rich person. So I could have been giving money to my mom. I could have been giving money to my partner. I could have been giving money to my aunts, uncles, my cousins. So for those of you who are going to look at me like, damn, you had this much money and didn't break us off, I'm sorry about that. But let me tell you what the psychology is behind this. Let's say I make that 20,000 and it came from $2,000-$3,000 bets. This is what gamblers go through. So for those of you who are gambling and know what I'm talking about, you feel this. You could easily give somebody $1,000 if you just made 20,000. But the mindset is that's $1,000 less that I could be betting to make another 20,000. And even though that is ridiculous, when you're in that mode, it really feels that strict. Like, oh, like I got this 20K. I need every cent to make another 20K. That's ridiculous, but that's how your mindset works at the time. So the excuses I have for those of you who know gambling and know these excuses, most of what I made and lost, or most of what I lost was money that I won. So let's say I lost 100,000 in 48 hours. I probably made like 130,000 over that whole time. And I spent or enjoyed 30,000. Like I did take my family to New York. I did. And I was spending like, not crazy, but it was like restaurants and dispensaries or little excursions. That shit was like easy. So I did spend a bit nicely there. I gave my significant other, let's say maybe like $10,000 over that course of time. I did put up a little bit of money for my child. I got him a couple investments. I got my girl an investment, but that's it. And that's pretty sad. That is pretty sad. So even though that 100,000 that I lost was definitely the casino's money, and the 30,000 that I enjoyed was pretty much just the severance pay and that end of job pay that I already had. Of course, it's still tragic that I lost that much. So let's get into what would have happened. Let me be very certain or clear when I'm sharing this with you. If you're in this situation, give your significant other the winnings instantly. If you need to ask for something back to gamble more, do it. So there was times when like, if I made 20,000, I might lose 10,000 and I might need that 10,000 to get back to 20,000. So I was up and down during this time, but I was generally up. So I was kind of holding on tight to it. But don't hold on tight to it, people. Right now, if you're making $3,000, give it straight to your significant other. Give it to your mom. Give it to a close friend and let them get something out of it and enjoy something out of it before the casino takes it all back, because they will. That's how they survive so long. But the sad thing is, this is money that could have went to my son. This money that could have went to my mom. This money that could have went to my dad, to my girl, to my sister. Like I got two sisters. But the reason why it didn't, what was going on in my mind at that time was I wasn't in a great relationship with those people. With my significant other, we weren't really together and doing well at that time. So I had this anxiety, like if I give her, half of all of this, which I should have did, we're going to break up and she's just going to run off with it. And then I'm going to be, I could have just lost it, but that would have been better than me losing it. So that was a reason why I was reluctant to like just give it to her, which I very much should have, but we were in a very tense state. And that is another issue. When you and your partner are tense, you can't tell them anything. So let us have been in a better relationship. She probably would have been like, hey, slow down. You made $30,000 today. Never gamble again. But we were at such odds that we weren't partners. So if you are with somebody right now, make sure it's a partnership. Make sure that you're able to recommend like, hey, this is the job you're working. This is the job you want. I can help you sharpen your resume. But that's another story. My mom and I, relationship was kind of tense. Didn't really feel like breaking her off a big amount of money. I should have. Even though our relationship sucked, $25,000 she could have had that wouldn't have went back to the casino. But let's get back to why this is perfect, why I don't regret it, why life just goes how it's supposed to go. Let's say best case mindset that I was in at that time, I would have, best case, paid off my girl's car note and let's say given her another $10,000 or $20,000. Let's say I gave my mom $10,000. I did give a close friend like $500. Like I said, I did one on that family trip. So I did a couple of things, but very insignificant compared to how much I lost. And let's say I would have put up, a significant chunk for my child, which is the saddest thing. If you're watching this, son, later in life, I'm sorry, but I got you. Don't worry about it. The money's coming. But let's say I had, out of that 100,000 that I lost, let's say that I kept 70, 60,000 and then had did something generous with that 30 or 40. I would have been on BS. And oh, I never really told the story of me losing it in those 2 days. The Goobermeister, another excuse that I have when it comes to the goober. That was how I got it. I was very intoxicated, or I was goobered up when I was making those extreme bets. So I really went up because I was in an extreme headspace, making extremely risky bets, and it was working out for me. So losing it all due to the goober isn't as bad because I got it all due to the goober. And when it comes to goober and what happened in those 2 days, I probably made this all over that 6 months, and I lost it in 2 days because of that martingale method. So let's say I did have a night. I remember this was Sunday, let's call it, made like 50K after losing 20K. So I was up 50K. I was up 30K profit. I ended up slowly that same night, which is ridiculous. I made 30K profit. Why am I still gambling? The goober. I ended up slowly losing that 30. So let's say I was at 130 and then I went down to 100. This is what it was. I remember my bank account. I was at 130, went down to 100. The next day, I tried to make a 25K bet. Lost. Tried to make another 25K bet. Lost. Then tried to make another 25K bet. Lost. So I don't know if it was exactly 4 25K bets. And the kicker is, when I told you guys I was down 20,000 and went up 50, that was a 25K bet that I made that ended up paying out however much, so that it was the martingale. So let's say I lost 5,000, lost 10,000, lost another 10,000. Now I'm at 20 in the hole. I'm going to bet 25K. Bang. Ended up winning that and ended up going up 30. That is goober gambling. What the F are you doing? Losing 10, 20K in a night when you're up, let's say 70 overall and still going. Then you make it, you profit. Now you're up 50. You're up 30 in profit. You're green. What are you still doing? It is the goober. And when I was losing those next couple of days, I was like goobered up. And it's like, you're so certain, like you're so confident, like this is gonna hit. If I lose this 25K, I win the next 25K. I lost 2 25Ks in a row. I'm gonna win 3 in a row. It's like you're so wired and certain. So even when I got down to 0, it wasn't until sobering up that it really hit me. So when I got down to 0, which I literally was down to nothing, I think they maxed out how much I couldn't pay anymore. Like I couldn't deposit anymore. So I took a credit card. My credit score was 800 at this time. I had a 35K credit card. I had like an 18K credit card, another 18K credit card, like a 15K credit card. So I was loafed up. Credit score was amazing. I had it going at this time. One of those credit cards would work on the gambling app, and I ended up maxing that one out. So took 14K or 15K off of that credit card. It was 14, I remember, and lost that too. So now not only am I down to nothing in my bank account, I'm also in the negative credit. So I am totally effed. But this is not why I'm living with my mom. After that happened, I was depressed, to say the least. I was in a very bad mental state, but it did come with some clarity. And I'm getting sidetracked. Let me go back. I'll get to that later. Let me go back to why this was perfect. I don't think I would have been in my son's life very well, or I would have just lost it all later. Because like I said, my child's mother and I were living together. We were trying to be together, but it wasn't going well. So the only thing that was on my mind at the time was going to Vegas. So best case scenario, like I said, If I had given my mom some, given my girl some, put up some for my son, I would have went to Vegas with 60, 70K and totally tricked it off. Totally tricked it off. I would have been living in not, crazy suites, but I would have had a nice Airbnb, nice rental, ladies every night, goober every night. That's where my mind was at that time. So nothing positive would have come out of that unless I somehow made more or invested it well. So I can confidently say that I didn't miss anything good. There's the regret. There's the haters watching this like, oh, if I would have had this same spark of light that I feel now with that money, I can't say that I wouldn't have. Yes, I know. I regret. I feel that probably 10 times a day. It's getting lesser at the time. So for people who dealing with heavy regrets and cringy thoughts that you can't stop thinking about, time will heal. Feel gratitude. It'll be less. But of course, I still think about that probably every other day, or it probably crosses my mind all the time. So don't think that I don't know the regret side of it. Like, what if I would have gotten to this point of contentment and fatherhood with that money? Yes, I know. But I can say, and you have to have faith. This is the faith that your life is going perfectly. It can't go any other way. I might have moved to Vegas because me and my partner weren't doing well. I might have moved back to Chicago. I might have moved back to Chicago or Vegas and got a job, or moved to Colombia and retired and just lived there off of the money, been goobered up, having women and having other babies, getting on child support. Who knows? But it wouldn't have been positive. I can confidently say that my mind state at the time was totally just BS. And after that happened, the depression that I went through actually stoked some clarity in me. I ended up stopping drinking, stopping smoking, stopping fornication. I told my girl, like, look, we're having too many problems. I don't want to keep living in sin. So if we aren't going to get married, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was on a positive streak. And with my good credit and with my remaining money, I got a cargo van. So I started a business. That is a positive endeavor. I was making money. It wasn't like that fall off directly led to me living with my mom. I let my credit score shatter. I just wasn't paying the bills, or I was paying the minimum payments, whatever. Effed up the 35K card, effed up the 15K card, whatever. But I had this business. I had one truck, and I was about to get a second truck. I was driving it myself. I was making deliveries in the cargo van. This is like a step down from trucking, if anybody knows. It's like trucking, which you don't need a trucking license. But I was still stable, sort of. I was still afloat. And then I went to jail for a self-defense pow. That was clearly self-defense, but that's how it goes in the legal system. Sometimes you got to go to jail. When I went to jail, mind you, I had been 4 months sober. That was 4 more months of sobriety, and I found reading again, which was something that I hadn't had since childhood. I've always been a nerd. I've always been smart, but I wasn't a reader. So I can very clearly see that this was where my life was supposed to go, and it all worked out how it was supposed to work out. And even though I fell down, even though the money bothers you, money is not real. Money is not important. Your happiness is important. And that path led to me being here rather than being like a distant absentee dad in Colombia with Goober and another family, which is probably where my life would have went had I kept that money. So that is the story, people. Do not mix Goober and gambling, or don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. If you are gambling and winning it all, please give the money to somebody you trust or don't trust. Give the money to a homeless person and ask them for it back later. That's probably better than losing it all back to the casino. That's the story of how I lost 100K in 48 hours, and now I live with my mom, even though the jail situation is what really made me live with my mom, because that's when I lost the truck and lost everything. And I was in so much debt. It was so bad. But I filed a bankruptcy. So I was 120K in debt. It's all gone. So money isn't real. Maxed out a car, start a business, lose all your money to goober gambling. You'll be all right, people. Now what do we have? Day in the life, 8. It's Friday, video day. Went to the gym yesterday, of course. Went to the gym again today. I've been doing business scheming on Thursdays and Tuesdays. When my son is gone, I had a good day with him yesterday, as always. Did some business scheming, and I almost gave up on the scheme. Not give up, but I was going to try a different scheme. Like, okay, I'm going to invest a little bit more in this. I'm going to try a little bit harder on this. It's not clicking. I'm going to try something else. But it's going well. The scheme is paying off. I'm seeing the results resulting. So I'm telling you guys, please keep hitting that wall. Please keep putting that effort out there, and the universe will have to give it back to you. So please, people, going to the gym, trying to be happy, meditating, trying to make extra money on the side, keep putting that effort out there, and it will come. I'll close the day in a life there because that was a long story, and I feel like it's a weird transition for me to go from that crazy story to just a day in a life. But that's my life. That's my YouTube channel. Hope this brought some humor, some laughter to people. I hope this brought some like, ooh, that's rough to some people. Hope you guys are having a better day than I was having at those times. Never dirk your smirk, people. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Never feel too low. You didn't lose 100K right after you had a son. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all.